Hey everybody, it's me again here. I just want to put this video out just explaining the six steps that I use in my personal journey with cancer here that have been, to me, helping me in my journey. Everybody's a little bit different, but I'll share these with you. And if anybody can draw any benefit from it, or if you have any suggestions for me, things I can add to my journey. It's got to do with just health and well-being, and where your mind's at and where your body's at and what you can do personally to help, right? I'm not saying I have it right 100% of the time, but for me right now it's working. And if you guys can draw anything good out of this, then that's a win for all of us. So I'm going to start at the bottom on number 6. The one thing that we do have is exploring health options, right? Be an advocate for yourself. There's a lot of second opinions, and there's a lot of things out there, and there's a lot of things that can lead you astray too. And I would just be diligent with that. One of the things that we did is we looked at a naturopath option, and we found a good naturopath that works alongside of conventional medicine, and has really been helpful with us, and very informative. There's a lot of really good people out there that are very trained and very well versed in the naturopath method, and it may be able to help supplement what you're doing or help your treatment process, right? So it's worth exploring if you want to go down that route. And a nutritionalist too, to talk about what kind of nutrition you're requiring and whatnot. And usually when you get down that cancer journey, most oncologists and the systems will help guide you through that process too. But those have been pretty important in our journey, and pretty informative. And it's like I said, the one thing that I know about the naturopath world is finding a naturopath that agrees that conventional medicine is necessary, and being able to explore that option with them and see what they can do to work alongside conventional medicine to help you, right? Not all oncologists will be on board with that, so definitely talk to your oncologist, and if you decide to do that, if you want to talk to them, and then get their opinion on it, right? Maybe in different parts of the world, they have a different perception of it. So either way, those are pretty important things that we've done in our life. So there's a lot of supplements and a lot of discussions, a lot of knowledge that come out of that. Number 5 is get a good sleep. Make sure sleep is a real priority. I know for me, I had some challenges in the beginning, but through some research and some help from some of our folks that are involved with us, we got it dialed down to where I can get a good night's sleep now, right? Which has been really paramount. I bought one of those Samsung watches that ties into my phone just to monitor my sleep, to see how much deep sleep and REM sleep and my sleep latency, where that's at and whatnot. And the sleep has been really critical as far as healing and just feeling well rested. So if you're not getting a good sleep, I would definitely make that a priority to see if there's some way through, some help from other people or some advice, or maybe whatever you're going through, you can get dealt with, so you can at least gain more hours of sleep, and not just sleep, but really good sleep, like a deep sleep that really helps you. It really is refreshing. Like I said, for the first few months, I had some real problems with that, but got her dialed down now. And, when I do have a sleep, for the most part, I feel very refreshed when I get up, because it's a very good sleep. So make that a priority for sure. I know sleep, your oncologist and your team will likely tell you that that's a big priority, and they'll help you along that way as well. Number 4 is exercise. Not everybody has the same capacity to exercise, and everybody's going to be in a different part of their journey. I know people are dealing with pain and fatigue and whatnot, and I've been just blessed with the fact that I can still exercise every day. So for me, I do some weights, about a half an hour weights, and a couple 2 to 5 kilometers a day, depending on weather conditions outside. But 2 to 5 kilometers a day to just keep my body moving, and I try to do that 7 days a week. And there's days where I just don't have the motivation, but that's where my prayer and inspiration from the Lord steps in and helps me through that. But just by doing that, it helps your overall well-being, and it doesn't have to be 5 or 10 kilometers. It can just be staying active for a while, just to get the blood moving and get your body in a better state. Like I said, I know everybody is carrying a little bit of a different burden as far as energy and how sick you are, and I think anything would help. And definitely consult with your your doctor to see, at what point you'd be pushing your limits, right? Definitely don't want to go push beyond where you're at. For me, in the early stage of this, I had really low hemoglobin, so I had to be really careful of how much exercise I did because I could fatigue very easily. So, as time has gone on, my hemoglobins have gone up. Obviously, things are, a lot easier now. I've got more energy, and that seems to be increasing as time goes on. So, exercise is really important, and it's really good for your mental well-being too, just to keep the body moving, doing something, right? Whatever you're capable of doing, it's definitely going to be helpful to you. Number 3, eat right. God gave us this body as a gift, and we're to look after it, right? And that means that whatever we put in and however we treat it, right? If we treat it well, it's going to treat us well for the most part. So, don't abuse it. So, yeah, for me, my journey is I started a couple of years ago on a weight loss journey, and I really focused a lot, especially now, on eating whole foods. That's been a really big thing. I'm not perfect. I have my cheat days where once in a while I'll indulge in pizza or something like that, but the vast majority of the time we're eating whole foods and staying focused on that, right? And drinking plenty of water, right? We have very purified water. We use that Santevia, which is a really good water filter. Read into that if you want, but there's a lot of other good ones out there too. But yeah, drinking a lot of water and just eating as many whole foods as we can, staying away from a lot of sugars and carbs. Not ruling them out altogether, but definitely staying away from them. And that becomes a lifestyle after a while. So eating right is really important, looking after this body. This body has been given to us as not a bit, but it's been given to us as a gift. So take care of that, right? And it's going to help your overall well-being if you start eating right. You'll see that. And obviously your medical team will tell you the same thing, right? So eating right is definitely number 3. That's made a huge difference in my life, depending on what I eat. And I still have, I have to be very careful what I eat because of my colon is narrowed in a certain spot. So, I have to be very careful of the fiber, but overall I can be relatively liberal with what I eat, but a few things I have to cut out just so I don't get plugged up or anything like that. But everybody's condition is a little bit different. I don't know what you're dealing with, but definitely consult your doctor or your nutritionist and let them know what you're dealing with as far as any cancers that, your nutrition requirements might be a little bit different, but whole foods and trying to keep your appetite up and moving. And for me, a lot of protein, I'm sure a lot of you, is really important. So yeah, eating right. That's a really key one. Number 2, we're going to get into the mental part of it, is keep righteous people around you, good people. And for me, it's, I like to associate as much as I can with good God-fearing people, but there's still a lot of good people out there that are not Christians. And just keep people out in your life that'll be, positive with you. And, talk a lot about cancer being, mentally being very draining. And that's true. It could be. So if you keep people around you that, help encourage you through the process, every day, to help you with that fight, if you're going through a fight, or the challenges or the lack of energy, to help you keep motivated, and just some very supportive people around you. And for me, the more Christians I have that have just sincere prayers that help you through your journey, and the prayers mean a lot, and they do a lot for somebody that has a relationship with the Lord. So that's really important. So having good friends around you, righteous friends that can help you with that, carry that yoke a little bit, and just be very supportive of you through the process. Definitely a key part of the journey, right? And the next one is, for me, for sure, allowing God into my life and surrendering my life to Jesus. That's number 1, because that changed everything for me. It changed my outlook. It changed my perception. It made me realize that this isn't something I can do on my alone by myself. Anybody that thinks out there they can carry on this journey by themselves and not, and not be really challenged with that, it's not really realistic, because emotionally it just can wear on you, right? There's so many, everybody would know that's dealing with it, but there's so many moving parts, and having God in my life took that anxiety and fear and just rid me of it. And whenever I feel that it's coming back, I just reach out in prayer to the Lord, and once again, He steps in, He carries that yoke for me, right? And so having God in my life has been most instrumental. Just surrendering my life to Him and just loving God and doing His work has just become a priority in my life. And cancer is still a part of my life. I know I got to deal with it every day and fight that fight. I know that, but I also know that God's got me in His hands, and there is a plan. And through all this pain and suffering that may be in front of me, and whatever I've gone through, that there's a blessing on the other side. And when you surrender your life to the Lord, the great thing about that is that He does have a plan for us, even in turmoil, right? And you get to have the benefit of not doing this alone and having God support you and just hold you in His hands, at any time. And eventually we all end up alone at some point, and that's when the things can really hit you. And that's when, if you have God in your life, you can just take that time to read the Word and reach out to the Lord, and He will 100%, you can feel that love and support, and you can just build that relationship with God, and every day gets better and better, right? So number one in the whole journey with me, as far as just giving me the will and all the knowledge that we prayed for our doctors and our all the people involved in our life in the medical field, we've just prayed so hard that they have the right inspiration through the Lord to make the right decisions, and any advice we get from people, we just pray that that God puts people in our lives that can help put things in front of us that will help us through this journey, and he's really delivered there. Excuse me. It doesn't mean that every prayer is answered right now. That's not the reality of it, right? God may have a purpose for holding back on prayers. It could be now's not the right time. It could be down the road. It could have God's perfect plan. The prayers can hold off, and only God will know why they hold off when we ask for things or ask for help in our lives, right? And at the end of all of it, there will be a plan that God has, and there will be a blessing that comes of it, right? So, yeah, number one, God in my life. The great thing there is that gift is for everybody of salvation, and it's. I wish more people would see how much that could help, and it's unless you're a believer, unless you do follow Christ, it may be hard to wrap your head around that, but I can guarantee you, if you make that choice to go to the other side, to serve Christ and just surrender your life to Him and love God, that your life will be changed forever. That's a guarantee. So that's my 6 things. So I got number 1, just making God first and foremost, and just surrendering my life to the Lord, and reading and immersing myself in prayer whenever I can, and serving Jesus, and just loving the Lord. And 2, surround yourself with righteous people that are supportive, and people that have a relationship with God, those prayers mean something because they're reaching out to the Lord, and it's going to be very powerful in your life. But just good friends too, to help you through that journey is really important. Eat right, make that a priority for sure. That's your body. Do your best to look after it. I waited till pretty late in my life to really make that change. It was only 2.5 years ago or so, or 2 years ago, that I really started to change my lifestyle. Exercise is very important. Just keep moving as much as you can. Not everybody is the same, but keeping the muscles and the blood flowing as much as you can is going to be important, and talk to your doctors about limitations on that. Sleep, very paramount. Getting a good sleep. Make sure that, you do what you have to get a good sleep, because that's going to be really important. Look after yourself that way, getting a good night's sleep. And then explore health options, right? Sometimes you have to be an advocate for yourself. I don't know what cancer treatment's like all over the world, but here in Canada, it's pretty good. But there's still some gaps in the way that, you may be left asking questions, what can I do in the interim, or what can I do to help myself while I'm waiting for treatment? And explore those options and educate yourself, because there's a lot out there and a lot of helpful people. So that's about it. If anybody has any questions or anything, by all means, reach out, or suggestions, reach out. That's fine too. And God bless you on your journey. And until the next video, take care. And the Lord loves you. Bye-bye.